All right, Nick, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, although they narrowly missed out on winning the division, making the playoffs, I would say it's probably a pretty disappointing season for Falcons fans. The swing and miss with Kirk Cousins, that was a big time move. But Raheem Morris and co, they're regrouping, removing, and specifically looking for some young or some upcoming coaches to come help him out, maybe veteran guys as well. I think the Falcons have a really good idea in their defensive coordinator coaching search, looking for guys in some places they wouldn't normally look for. Before we get into those, though, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, guys, I alluded to the Falcons looking for some defensive coordinators in places that they don't normally look for them. Let's jump into the article, and we can talk more about this on the other side. Two articles, actually. The first one is from NBC Sports. Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports reports the Falcons are interviewing Wink Martindale for their vacant defensive coordinator spot. They fired Jimmy Lake over the weekend after his first season with the team. So Martindale, coming from NCAA, former NFL guy, but college football ranks, that's a really interesting one there. The second one, the Atlanta Falcons say goodbye to defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake this week after just one season together. Now they may have zeroed in on an experienced replacement with plans to interview former Cincinnati Bengals assistant Lou Anarumo for the same position, according to NFL media. That again is from CBS Sports. Another defensive coordinator outside of the conference. Really interesting selections here for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm curious what your thoughts are on these, Nick. But before we get to you, Falcons fans, in the comment section below, I think there's a lot of interesting guys you could hire for the defensive and, other positions on this team, but specifically defensive coordinator, what we're talking about here. Who do you like? Do you like Martindale? Is he a fresh perspective coming from the NCAA game? Can he bring some of that youth from the college football world into the NFL? Do you like the veteran guy in Lou Anarumo? Is that someone that you want to bring on to this franchise and help, stabilize Raheem Morris, have him not be able to think about what's going on so much on the defensive side of the ball? Or is there someone else you really like to be the new defensive coordinator of this team? Let us know your picks in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about some of these selections for the Falcons?
Yeah, let's give credit where credit is due. Raheem Morris, when he hired Lake to be his DC, a lot of people felt it was just going to be a Morris guy or someone that could work together. Not necessarily buddy-buddy, maybe buddy-buddy, but certainly trying to get a friendly, non-controversial environment for the Falcons defensively, and it didn't work out. And now Raheem Morris needs to address the defensive side of the football. What does he do? He goes after Lou Anarumo. Great history, strong personality. Not a lot of working relationship with Raheem Morris. How about Wink Martindale? Very same thing. Big personality, strong personality. Not a lot of working relationship with Raheem Morris. What is Morris doing? He's looking outside the box. He recognizes, okay, hiring my guys, my kind of guys, it didn't work out. And this team is too darn talented to just retread and run it back. Because if you keep running it back, you know what they call you? They call you Arthur Smith. Don't want to have that happen, right? So credit to Morris for saying, I'm going to go outside my comfort zone here. I'm going to hire aggressive, veteran, strong-willed, strong-minded defensive coordinators and attack them. I think Anarumo or Martindale or someone of that ilk is the guy to come in and lead this Bengals defense. Because I'm sorry, not this Bengals defense, this Falcons defense. Of course, Anarumo, defensive coordinator for the Bengals. Because we know this team has talent. That's undeniable. They need someone to come in and reset the culture, reset the mindset. It's not about the X's and O's necessarily. To me, it's about attitude. And last year, they didn't have it. I thought they had decent strategies. Raheem Morris, of course, his background as a defensive coach, he's a good tactician. He knows enough about the X's and O's to be successful, and they have the players. To me, it was attitude. To me, it was leadership. And Arumo and Martindale can bring that in spades for this Falcons defense. It's exactly what they need, in my opinion, to turn that side of the ball around. I think this is a really solid move here by Raheem Morris. I think this could be exactly what the Falcons need to shore up a side of the football that should have been great last year, but frankly, left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, Nick, and I think one thing in particular here that's really interesting is, like you said, the aggressiveness in the personality. And that's what these guys bring in spades, especially when you look at a guy like Wink Martindale. When he was in the NFL, this was a guy who blitzed almost more than anybody else. You talk about aggressiveness. You talk about getting your guys going. And there's familiarity as well. You talk about Matthew Judon. That's a guy that played in the Wink Martindale scheme and looked really good doing it at times. You talk about Wink Martindale. he had that personality when he was on the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. He really got the guys fired up. You saw him on the sidelines. He was just a real personality guy. Louis Anarumo does a lot of great things too, and I think him being the more veteran guy, the more around the block type of guy, he can come in here and just bring that strong culture. He's a strong figurehead in the locker room. So I see them like this. I think, Louis Anarumo is more of like the, more stern, older, like grandfather type that's going to come in that locker room, no nonsense, really just bring, that strictness, that, really tough defensive football back where Wink Martindale, he's the fun uncle that's actually really good as well. He comes in, he brings the juice, he brings the fun back into the team, really lets everybody let loose, whether it's actually figuratively just like cut back and let loose or letting them loose by blitzing literally every single play. I think either one of these guys could be a really good pickup for the Falcons, but most importantly, I'm glad, like you said, that Raheem Morris is saying, hey, I'm not going to bring in my guy. Lake, that was my guy. He was my friend, is my colleague, strong working relationship. That didn't work. Let me show that I'm willing to go out and look at all ranks of all levels of football and bring in somebody who I think could be a solid replacement. Really great news for the Falcons. I think whoever they pick, it shows that Morris is looking to make the right selection.
And one final point to end on here, you kind of mentioned it. I think it's really important. What's very common between, or what is common, excuse me, between Anarumo and Martindale is they were both defensive coordinators in the AFC North, a division known for toughness, a division known for being physical, a division known for just absolute slugfest on the defensive side. That's exactly what the Falcons need. They need someone that's willing to stand up and hit the offense, figuratively, obviously, in the mouth. There are too many big moments. Of course, the end of the season against the Carolina Panthers lives large in my mind, where this defense kind of just rolled over a little bit. They just didn't have the guts to stand up and punch someone in the mouth and hold their ground on defense. You've got two AFC North guys, or former AFC North guys, coming into the fold here. I think either one of these guys would be great, but like you said, and like I brought up, this is a strong strategy by Raheem Morris, looking outside the box, outside his comfort zone to solve one of the Atlanta Falcons' biggest problems.